Hello, welcome back to Yellow Card TCG. This role here bringing you a Vanguard deck profile for premium format. Now, like I said in the tweet talking about this video, this is a deck that was a long time coming. I should have made it a while ago and I just never got around to it, but here we are today. I am of course talking about Deletor Messiah, which is I think the only real way to play Link Joker in the current premium environment, given how fast and explosive the game is. This will be a shorter video than I'm used to, especially for Link Joker. I'm not going to go into as much detail or as much depth because there's really not that much detail or depth to go into. This is an OTK sort of combo deck style, kind of like old Nova Grappler or old Overlord in a way, or even like Nightmare Doll to an extent. There's not a lot of like skill expression in the gameplay. It's more like how do you manage your combo and do you hit your combo. Before we jump straight into the video, I will give a few shoutouts. So this deck build was first pioneered and first played at events during the 2022 BCS season by Kyotogen Mohammed from WCC. I'm told that he is no longer actively playing, but he is still, in my opinion, one of the best players in Europe. And props to him for, I think he got like at least 2 or 3 top play, like not top first place, but top 8 finishes with this deck throughout last season. So yeah, he definitely put in a lot of work. He's a very good player, played the deck very well. And from that initial expression or inspiration, both myself and Kalen, my fellow UK Joker player, we both put a lot of effort into the deck as well. Kalen actually played it for Worlds, but unfortunately he got a bit unlucky and his run wasn't so good. But we both think that this deck is decent. It can definitely fight up into the existing premium format. And yeah, I'm just going to quickly run through the list. If you play Link Joker, you'll know what most of the cards do already. There are a few oddities, which I will explain. And the main thing is going through the combo and walking through the steps. So we'll start off with the basic lineup. So you've got your standard starter. I will add that my SP Neon Messiah is currently in V Premium, in Glendio's, which is currently where also my SPPGs are. So I'm just using these non-foils for now. But we have 4 PGs. I was talking about this with Kalen. He was originally playing 3 PGs and obviously the 1 Sanctitude. But we realized that Sanctitude is only decent when the game is going long and you actually need to care about all your resources. Which in the case of Link Joker in this particular deck, you're aiming to win the game by turn 4, turn 5 at the very latest. So a lot of the times, the free PG effect from Sanctitude very rarely comes up. It also takes up main deck space, as in normal unit space. So being able to free up a trigger for a PG is really handy in this instance. We're also playing the 1 extra D draw as a 5th draw. So draws are just really good in general because, like I said, you're a combo deck, you need to find your pieces. I don't own SPs of this. If anyone has them, hit me up. You've got 4 heals as you'd expect, and then 6 crits. The crit lineup is 4 strike crit and 2 Giva. This is the Deletor crit. Now, at first you might be looking at, oh, this is a G crit. It's 5k power, 10k shield. Is it really that good? And the important effect is that it has an effect that lets you countercharge, which is actually surprisingly important for the main combo. We thought about bumping this up to 3 or 4, but we found that it just wasn't necessary. And to bump up more of these, you'd either be cutting stride crits, which bumps your ability to stride, or you'd be cutting down draws, which you don't really want to be doing because all the draws are important. Finally, of course, is the OT. You can't play premium without it. Hopefully that changes at some point before too long. But, don't hate the player, hate the game. So, pretty standard trigger lineup with the exception of these 2 crits. But as I said, they will come up in the combo later. So we'll put this aside. Moving on to grade 1s. It's pretty simple, just 4 of everything. It's White Dwarf, Globule Doba, and Jaleel. Jaleel is pretty much what makes Deletor viable again, so that it counts for 3 cards when you use Given. And Doba is an old card that was only previously played in some variants of G Messiah, but with how the new stride of Cosmic Dawn interacts, there's a lot of potential involved. So this is not mandatory or critical to the combo, but it gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of extension. It's also got some cool synergy in the early game as well, if it comes down to it. So we'll put the Jaluels on top, because again, we'll talk about the combo later. Grade 2, again, just 4 of all your critical pieces. For Gastro, for Given, for Awaking. Again, just like with Doba, Awaking was primarily only played in G-Link Joker, and didn't really see much playing premium until now. But now that we have the Cosmic Dawn, Awaking's value actually skyrockets in combination with Given. Gastro is just your only 10k body, but it's also your best form of early game advantage. It's plussing, it's aggro, and it can also plus the board for resources with Doba. It can put down Volker if you're lucky. It's basically everything you kind of need. The only drawback is that it has to attack a Vanguard for its effect, meaning that you might not be able to damage an eye in a lot of instances, but a lot of the times you're okay with giving up that 1 or 2 points of early damage because it also makes your OTK combo a little bit easier to reach. But given on top, because again, that's part of the combo. And finally, the top end of the deck. It's 4 Freeze Ray, 4 Yudolga, and 1 Volko. Now, you might be looking at 1 Volko and going, wow, that seems really inconvenient. How do you ever get it off? And the answer is, unlike with Messiah decks, you're not relying on the Volko. Volko is just a neat extension. If you have it early with the Gastro, cool, you get some nice early aggro. If you see it during the combo with Cosmic Dawn, cool, it's another body, pumps the given, makes your combo better, but you don't actually need it because it's no longer your primary win con. I debated cutting it altogether, but there was really nothing better you can play as a one-off. Like, everything else you might want to play in these slots, you need to cut other pieces of the main deck for. Like, there are some tech grade 2s you can run. There's you could cut this for the Sanctitude and go back to 3 draw PGs, but draws are good. So the 1 Volko is just nice. You see it, and it's cool. And obviously Yudolga is what makes the combo work. You need your opponent to be deleted, and Yudolga is by far and away the best on-ride delete, because it also has a 4th marker, so you can fight for first stride this, then marker, stride, win the game. And of course, you need to give up the grade 3. Like I mentioned, Premium is in a position now where it's all about early game, it's all about fighting for first stride, riding down, being able to rush your opponent before they can do anything. The freeze ray pretty much leaves you a lot, lets you live against these decks. Like Steam Maiden, you shut down their attacks. Highlander, you shut down their attacks. Even like Luard to an extent, you can just completely end their games with freeze ray. It's not an amazing card, and the downside of knowing that you need to ride freeze ray is that you will have to guard a bit early in the early game so that you can afford to take some damage on the freeze ray. And that does make Gastro a bit weak because Gastro's counterblast. But in general, I think if you're playing Link Joker in Premium nowadays and you're not playing Freeze Ray, it's just not playable. So you have to play Freeze Ray in this state. But Yudolga is part of the combo. So before I finish explaining the combo, let's take a look at the G-Zone. So this is currently arranged in deck block order. So I'm going to fan out like this and then pick them up as we go through them. So first off is obviously the combo piece, which is Cosmic Dawn. This came out in Premium Collection. It didn't revitalize how Link Joker plays because Link Joker has 3 different archetypes that all play wildly differently. But what it did do was give every single Link Joker deck a way to actually play aggro, multi-attack, and plus, which was nice to have. Although Link Joker didn't really have any issues with those in general, it was more of a case of each of the 3 decks needed something different, and Cosmic Dawn was probably the best, what's the word I'm looking for, compromise we could come up with, so it's pretty good. Next up is Barrier End. This is for if you don't have the piece of the combo or you need to like just bridge the early game, your first riders needs to do something, you can't kill them yet. Barrier End is pretty good, removes Axel markers, removes Protect markers, which are very bad for the deck. You struggle a lot into any deck that can farm multiple Protect like NLK or OTT, so be aware of that. Grand Blue doesn't get as many Protect markers, only 1 or 2, so you can usually power through a Grand Blue turn, but anything else is a little bit harder. So Barrier End is good for those, and when you're not doing anything else. You've got the Glue Ball. I'm not a huge fan of Glue Ball because all it does is lock your opponent's board and give some power. But sometimes if you're being rushed down, say by Highlander, by Steam Maiden, by whatever, a well-timed Glue Ball can stop their turn, force them to a vanilla Vanguard swing, and then that's what gives you the chance to make a comeback, go for combo, or something along those lines. And then finally, the 2 one of other strides are Stark. It's not super important. You could replace this with Origorum, you could replace this with Amnesty Messiah. It's just a random win con that will occasionally come up. Like 3 lots of 38k swings when your opponent's deleted is pretty decent. Gaia Weld is something that you can stride for free, which surprisingly does come up fairly often. It's not super amazing, like you're never gonna try and delete them here because if you delete them with Gaia Weld, you're not comboing, you're not multi-attacking, you're not doing anything, you're just farming advantages, which your deck can already do beyond that. Like you have freeze rate to like slow down the game, you have grade 1 that can draw you cards, Gastro draws you cards. So it's very rare that you'll like be aggressively going to Gaia Weld. He's more there for when everything goes absolutely wrong. The G-Guard lineup is probably where Kalen put the most effort in and I'd say did the most work when it comes to improving on Togen's deck. Because you're going to be first riding Freeze Ray a lot and passing grade 3, having good G-Guards to like survive your opponent's turns on top of the Freeze Ray defense is critical. Being on like 4 or 5 and being able to survive there is how you can avoid losing the game. So we've got 2 Big Dipper, 1 Lacus Karina, 1 Cosmo Wreath, 1 Destiny Guardian, 1 Maxwell, this comes up surprisingly often, and 1 Dismal. Dismal's pretty much there for if you had, say, early Gastroid to put down, say, Volco or something else, or maybe even Given, or even like Jaluel, if you had to like pull down a Jaluel with Gastroid. This can keep them alive, it's super important. The main thing about Maxwell is that it's the easiest way of gaining shield. These 2 are the only shield gaining G-Guards, these 2 are disruptive, and your shield gaining G-Guards rely on you having other pieces to work with. This needs you to lock 1 back row, sure, but it's a lot less restrictive than multiples for Big Dipper and 3 for Lacus Karina. So the other only G-Guard I considered running is Colburn, because it gains a huge amount of shield, and a lot of decks in Premium nowadays can build massive hand size, but the discard 1 cost was a bit difficult, and having the disruption is a little bit too important for this deck. But yeah, you'll be accessing the G-Guards most of the time, plus Cosmic Dawn. But now for what people are really interested in, what you're here for, is the combo. So we'll set up the situation. So this is the bare minimum we need for combo. You need to have your Dolga in hand ready to ride, and you need Stride Fodder. Given and Jaluel are also nice. Well, Given is needed, but you can find it off the Cosmic Dawn, so it's not critical. And Jaluel just makes things a little bit easier. Usually you'll have like some number of cards in hand as well, which helps, which means you can just reliably give them multiple times without needing to hit multiple Jaluels. You'll also want quite a lot of Counterblast, so your opponent might be hesitant to give it to you. Because you're on the 10k and Freeze Ray, you should be easy to take at least 2 or 3 damage going into your stride turns. So here we already rode Freeze Ray, we did some stuff, passed turns. Our opponent didn't need us to G-Guard, or we didn't have heals because we damaged all of them, but we were still able to survive and play the game. We're going to ride the Dolga, Counterblast 1, doesn't really matter what we discard here, because as long as you can stride, that's what matters. Your opponent's deleted. You will get a Force 2 marker, which I have in a different box and can't be bothered to get out, but Force 2 on Vanguard, because you'll restand your Vanguard with Given, that gives you a lot of lethal pressure. Down to Cosmic. So you can pull this back, pull a body, doesn't really matter. Cards in hand and cards on the field are all the same as far as Given's concerned. I'm going to start attacking. So attack, does whatever, you can boost as well. On attack, Cosmic Dawn, Counterblast 1, top 7. Now, if you don't have Given in play already, you're looking for Given. If you do have Given in play already, you're looking for either Awakening Messiahs or any form of countercharge. So we found countercharge and a Given, so that's great. So Cosmic Dawn will call these as lock, and then unlock them. When they unlock, something can go off. Like, for example, Doba, you can Soul Blast 1, countercharge 1, and keep going. Because every Cosmic Dawn uses a Counterblast. The more Dobas you can find, the less damage you need, open Counterblast you need to actually combo off. So then you Triple Drive. Usually all effects Vanguard, maybe power to one of the Givens, but unless you can reliably hit Awakens, the Givens probably won't be abusing that power that much. So then you can attack with Given, who's going to be 19 because we gave it the power. Effect, end of battle. This counts as 3, 4, 5, 6. Vanguard restands. You can then attack again because Cosmic Dawn's not once per turn. Top 7. This time find the Awakening. Found another Awakening. I'll look at one more card. Yep, doesn't matter. And the critical thing to note is that each time you do this combo, each time you use Cosmic Dawn, you're taking 2 normal units out of the deck. So every time Given restands your Vanguard, your deck compression increases and the likelihood of hitting triggers increases. But we're actually going to leave these locked because we don't need them to unlock right now. Actually, we can unlock 1, which can restand the Doba and give power, which is nice. But then you're going to double Twin Drive. No effects. Given does lose drive, it's not that great. With Given now. Now, this one will also not have power, and if your opponent got a defensive, that kind of sucks. But you're here just for the restand with your pressure on Vanguard. So end of battle. You don't want to sacrifice this Given because you have Awakens. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Vanguard restands. On attack again. Cosmic Dawn. Last 1, 7. Now we left this Awakening locked because now we can unlock it with this Cosmic Dawn and then attack with the Given again. But We found another Awakening, which is always good, and a Jalluel, which is also always good. Then going to unlock almost everything. Actually, we might as well unlock this here now because we're running out of hand. So in this particular scenario where you don't have much hand, you will want to restand this because you'll need to sack both of these to the given because you only have one drive now. So even though Jalluel counts as 3, you're not able to do it twice. So we'll just unlock this just so we can get these and still have the boost. But the Vanguard then gets the 1 drive, nothing, attack, maybe power, maybe not, no big deal. Given with Jalluel, end of battle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Vanguard restands. Attack, Calm Blast 1. And now you have no drives. But even though you have no drives, as long as you hit, say, Jalluel, Given, something else, that's still barely enough to get there. So you could still attack with no drives, and it's still 28, maybe more from triggers, with Force 2 on your opponent's potentially deleted Vanguard, with or without defensives. So 4, 5, 6, 7. Hit the Awakening is nice, but we didn't hit anything else. So we probably can't extend unless we get something really good here. But unlock these. This will unlock Effect of the Dog. Soul Blast 1, counter charge and draw. This attacks for some number, probably doesn't hit. Then on attack, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We didn't hit anything else, so we can't go one more time. If this had been the Jalluel, you could have gone one more time for 0 drives. But the idea is that your Vanguard against their deleted Vanguard multiple times with the Force 2 by abusing Given. You know, if you could look at top 5 again, we had another Given here, we could have kept going if we had more damage. Obviously the combo is dynamic, it's not always going to be exactly looking like that. Some games you'll see all your Awakens, some games you'll see all your Dovers, some games you won't see Given and you'll fizzle. But that's the nature of the deck. It's not a guaranteed win combo like some decks, but it does have a lot more power behind it, has a lot more extension behind it. It can go a lot deeper than, say, Bermuda. Like, Bermuda's lines are usually very mapped and the ceilings are predictable in a way. Whereas with this, you could potentially get up to like 6 or 7 Vanguard attacks, resources provided. There's nothing that, say, as long as you have the capabilities, you can always do it. Not like Bermuda, where even though you could do this, you're limited by the board size or you're limited by how many copies of this you have. Or the fact that you can only like attack with Vanguard 3 to 4 times because there's no other effects to repeatedly stand your Vanguard. Like I said, the deck is not super amazing. I'm sure that Kalen knows this, but taking a deck like this to Worlds, you're relying on luck. Even in things like a local tournament just for fun, there's a lot of high roll involved. You need to, say, find your grade 3s to ride. You need to, say, be able to hit triggers. You need to survive your opponent's combo. They need to not hit their over trigger. Things such as that. It's not super exciting, but once you start popping off and you get the multiple Vanguard restands, like, you know, when you swing with your Cosmic Dawn and resolve it for the 3rd or 4th time in a turn, that is a lot of fun, I will admit. But yeah, the G zone is limited, and now, even though we said that most of the work comes from the G guards, most of this G zone is fairly flexible. As long as you have Cosmic Dawns, you can combo. Everything else kind of doesn't matter. But that was just a very quick showcase of what we've been up to in Premium, at least. You know, what I've been enjoying, what I'm playing. And that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully see you soon on the next Yellow Card TCG video. Take care, like and subscribe, all the regular stuff. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.